Hey, welcome in.
Welcome to the Arrowhead Addict podcast.
We are here coming to you live. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl. You only win a Super Bowl 2 times every 5 years, right? Oh! The warm-up act is over. Let's bring in Melissa Etheridge, massive Chiefs fan. Melissa.
Super Bowl champion, 2-time Pro Bowler, and Trent Green. Trent Green, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
And he picked it up! He picked it up! He's gonna score! And we'll see you next week, but until then, as always, go Chiefs.
Welcome into the Arrowhead Addict podcast on this Tuesday edition. I am Sterling Holmes, joined, as always now, by Josh Brisco. You can follow him on the X at JB Brisco, myself at Homestretch KC. We're going to have some fun today, Brisco, giving out letter grades for each position group as we head into 2025.
This is in no means whatsoever a shot at you or any sort of distress from me. I just want the audience to know I just found out what we're doing on today's show. I think that sounds fabulous. I am excited to do that. I don't know if there was a rundown that like you send Richard every Tuesday that I don't get to see, but regardless, that sounds great. Is there really? What? We've been doing this for like a year. Why haven't I gotten a rundown?
We have, okay, in fairness, this one's twofold. We have separate text threads, one with me and Richard, and then one, obviously, of us three, and I don't like keeping you in the loop.
My text to Richard is Sterling going to be on today? If I haven't, is that a little Bailey cameo?
Yeah, come on, dude.
Absolutely incredible.
He wants to play hard right now. He was asleep at my feet and he goes, dude, no, we're playing, dog.
I have this door shut because Hopper he literally until 5 minutes before I shut that door was throwing his miniature tennis ball at my feet and just dribbling it over and over. And it's really cute, but I have a podcast to do, Hopper, and that's bad for audio.
Gold March Madness, baby.
Hell yeah, it is.
No, I actually thought about sending you this, but I wanted to get your initial reaction as is. There actually was a reason why I didn't text you this time or most times, but this one is a reason. I like getting I do like getting your, without thinking, your gut take.
I love it. Absolutely.
You like that?
I like that. I like that. You like that.
Kirk Cousins. All right. Kirk Cousins likes it because he's getting paid a bleep ton of money to not play football and not get hit. Wow. What a life. What a life.
I hope he deserves that. Did you see though that he's in the second season of Quarterback that's coming out? So
He'll be the third, fourth, and fifth too.
Last year, that whole deal of him in Atlanta was getting followed by Netflix cameras. That is going to be a tough watch because he seems like a real pleasant guy. Wish him the best, but Hachi Machi, bad time to be. The Marcus Mariota curse, I guess, has continued.
Yeah, should have just, just done the one. Weston Brewster says, Sterling, I was in Wichita, the Mizzou game the other night. I was cheering for Mizzou. Appreciate you, Weston. I wish you could have brought it home for me. I was at my house. I thought about going to the game. I am now very glad I did not go to the Mizzou game. And by the way, what game are you talking about? Because I blocked that out of my memory.
They lost to Drake. They lost to Drake in the first round. It was embarrassing.
No, never heard of her.
It was actually Sterling. Actually, it's really embarrassing because all Drake's been doing for the last year or so has been taking L's, and then suddenly the tournament's here, and he's like started from the bottom, and now I beat Missouri. Certified lover boy, certified first round out.
I gave my Sterling stamp on Mizzou beating Drake. I don't give out many Sterling stamps, only when I'm confident. I was confident. I was wrong.
I'm putting a Sterling stamp on this show being excellent today.
I did do a Jim Rome bit today on radio. Yeah, this is normally we say the nonsense till the end. Day? This was a good one because Jim Rome interviewed Matt Catraro. He interviewed Q, and so we cut out the audio, and so I knew what he was going to say, and so I'd be like, Q, what was it like playing the Yankees last year? How did it get you prepared for this upcoming season? And then he finished it.
Bronx Bombers.
Rack 'em. Great take by Q. Brought to you by Old Trapper. What's your
It's a great impression.
Quarterbacks heading into 2025 for the Kansas City Chiefs. Your Kansas City Chiefs. That is an A+. This is the easy one. Yay, we're all happy here.
It's an A plus. I'm gonna say it's an uptick on Gardner Minshew from the vibes perspective. And here's my actual opinion on the quarterback situation. Bailey Zappi is probably the best QB3 the Chiefs have had with Patrick Mahomes. So there's your little note of difference.
Well, not even the best QB3. This might be the best QB2 with Gardner Minshew in Kansas City. So yes.
Too bad Mahomes stinks now.
A plus. All right. Let's get into Rob. Good call. Guys, no three-peats at all. Aces, UConn, Chiefs. Now you see how hard it is. Yeah. That third one's the one. That's the one that gets you. Everyone, it's always the third beer, the third bourbon, the third martini. 2 martinis, I'm good. Give me that third one. Slurring my words.
I mean, Mizzou's never gone back-to-back. Think about how sad that is. Couldn't even get back-to-back wins in the tournament this year. Couldn't get one.
Yeah, I did, because MNU's just fucking crushing it.
You can tell when I do make Sterling mad, because he lashes out at my NAIA athletic alma mater. Like, yeah, that. You got me. Oh, you got me right in the Mid-America. Oh, right in the Nazarene. Oh.
I actually like Mid-American Nazarene. Coach Rocky Lamar. I used to go to that basketball camp all the time.
Say that to Rocky's face. How about that?
Yeah, I will. I love Rocky. Not the movie, but Rocky Lamar. That's the real Rocky that I care about. Running back room. You go first. Initial reaction.
B-. Hard initial reaction. C+ was what I was going to say first. I upped it up to a B-. I think it is utterly okay right now. I think that is better than it was at any point last season. I think it is interesting. I think maybe I love being the guy that preaches consistency on running back stuff. I think the public perception has swung a bit too far on Isaiah Pacheco. It was too far one way for a long time. Now I think it's swung back a little bit into the negative too far. Isaiah Pacheco is a perfectly competent running back you're happy to have in your group. Kareem Hunt is setting your floor. I like Elijah Mitchell, and they're going to draft one in the draft. I guess if you said, hey, they will not have a rookie on this roster next year, I'd say maybe it's a C-. I'm just expecting there's going to be a guy in that late third, fourth round kind of range who gets added to this group, and I'm perfectly comfortable with this being the pre-draft group. This is a B- for me. If this was the opening day group, it'd be a C-.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I guess where I'm at right now as we sit on March 25th, it is a C-. I was going to say D+ actually, without a investment in the draft, because they're basically running it back with Elijah Mitchell taking over for Samaje Perine, which but we've not seen Elijah Mitchell stay healthy. We've seen glimpses, but no health. Isaiah Pacheco, now another injury under his belt, and he did not look good post-injury. Again, full offseason, I'm hoping for the best. And Kareem Hunt is just fine. Kareem Hunt he's fine to have, but as it sits right now, you need more ahead of him if he is going to be on your roster than just fine. So I'm actually concerned about the running back room as we sit here on March 25th. But again, what the Chiefs do in the draft could sway me fairly substantial. So we're A++ at quarterback. We are.
If we need to agree on a number, I'll give you a C+. If you want to give me a little wiggle room on the fact that we are evaluating it before the draft, right? So it's a little bit, you got to decide, well, are they going to address this or not? I think they're absolutely going to address that. Can we agree at a C+ then?
I think I'm just viewing it as what they sit at March 25th before pre-draft, because we don't know what they're going to do.
Right. So they don't have to play a game yet. So in terms of what they've done so far, I'm happy. Sure. In terms of if they had to play, I wouldn't be. I
still am not thrilled at what they've done so far. I guess
do we need to agree on a grade, or should we just keep our own report cards?
We can keep our own report cards, because again, my pushback is Kareem's fine. Isaiah Pacheco is fine. Elijah Mitchell, I have no idea. Could be good, could be bad. But when you only have 2 and quite frankly, question marks, when you have 3 question marks, that's a lot of questions, no answers. Wide receiver. Where are we at wide receiver?
This might be my overconfidence in this group. I don't know. We'll see if I feel bad about this by the time I'm done justifying it. B+, A-. I feel pretty good. Now, again, there's obviously the huge question of like how much time will Rashee Rice miss, both of the combo of injury and suspension. We just don't know what that cocktail is going to spill out. But I'm assuming he's not playing the first 4 games of the season. We've got nothing new on the legal side, and I don't know where he's at on the recovery. But just trying to give myself a reasonable timeline where he's missing some time. You give me a full season Xavier Worthy, a guy with a year under his belt, and Hollywood Brown theoretically on the field, Rashee Rice being able to capitalize on what looked like a really promising start to last season. I feel pretty good about that, and I think they've brought back the right depth pieces in Juju Smith-Schuster. Of course, you're waiting for the Sky Moore breakout. And Nico Remigio kind of getting like the McCole Hardman role, I think makes sense. Again, that's a group I could see them not drafting in the first 2 days. That would make me like a little bit bummed, but I think I'll go B+ and buy the highs of Rashee Rice, underline the fact that I was bullish on Hollywood Brown last season. We never got a chance to see how that would turn out, and I'm really in on Xavier Worthy. So yeah, I'll go B+ for the unit.
Yeah, I'm at B+ as well. Rashee Rice, when he's on the field, is a top 15, top 25, bordering top 20 wide receiver in the NFL. Xavier Worthy is a really, really talented, again, great rookie season, really blossomed as the season progressed. Hollywood Brown, I'm with you. I was very enthused when they got him. Injuries derailed his season, but we saw some of the more underlying numbers of how often he was targeted and him getting open, and there's no reason to think he cannot do that. Because we saw that post-injury, him get open. That's what the Chiefs need. So those 3, no Justin Watson anymore. Justin Watson, I saw got a goodbye on the Chiefs Twitter account, which I thought was a little interesting. So no Justin Watson. Juju's being back. I like that because Juju is a good blocking wide receiver. There is value in that. They trust him. There's way worse players at wide receiver 4 than Juju Smith-Schuster. Even if he's not quite as explosive as he once was, he's trustworthy, good hands, good blocker. I like Juju. So we're in agreement, B+, A-. I think that's like an 89, where you have to go to the teacher and say, can you just bump that up? It just looks so much better as a 90.
I thought about it. I think it's an 87 for me. We're just getting a nice B+. That we're not bumping this any.
Okay.
Draft somebody and come back and talk to me.
I'm at an 89. Luther Burden, a 96.
94.
So we're still 2 off though.
We should just do on a scale of 1 to 100 and let people figure out the grade for themselves.
Okay, I like that. So quarterback 100.
100, yes.
Running back room as it currently sits on March 25th.
72.
69%.
Nice.
It's actually not nice, so I'll say 68% because it's not nice.
I think that's good.
Wide receiver, I'm at an 89.
87.
Okay. Tight end room. Where are we at in the tight end room with an aging Travis Kelce, a solid tight end 2 who has some really good PFF numbers in Noah Gray, and a complete and utter unknown in Jared Wiley?
I don't know. This might be the hardest one to grade because it's not entirely about Travis Kelce, but so much of it is. If you knew you were getting great Travis Kelce, a 99. Who cares? Like, because you're getting Travis bleeping Kelce. I think they'll get enough out of Noah Gray to continue to kind of evolve in what it means for him to be tight end 2. I kind of like where Wiley is projecting to, and he got hurt early enough that I would think that he'll be physically good to go through training camp and all of that. Maybe he gets a little more on his plate in year 2. I would also, I've heard a lot of good things about this tight end class, especially kind of in a range where the Chiefs could try to double down. Look, next year, Travis Kelce's probably not on this football team. Is it Noah Gray 1, Jared Wiley 2, rookie from this year's draft 3? I don't know. It's not Baylor Cup or Anthony Ferksker. So it's another spot where I would like to see them do a little bit of long-term investing. I think right now I'm like 81. I'm not like worried about it, but I don't think it's a holistic strength because I'm trying to make Travis Kelce a strength and a weapon in the proper sample size, which means a little bit less out of a Noah Gray or whoever else gets some work in there. So I think that's the justification for it going a little lower.
For me, it depends on how you view it. If you view tight end on a sliding scale where there's some really good tight ends in the NFL, don't get me wrong, right? But it's not the same as like quarterback, obviously, right? It's a little
wide receiver. There are 15 wide receivers you would take before your second tight end if you were just like fantasy drafting the league, right? Like Brock Bowers would go after maybe 10 tight ends or 10 wide receivers.
Yeah. So it's a little difficult because part of me wants to still put it at like a 90, but I think the realistic viewpoint is maybe like an 87. I think I'm probably about an 87 realistically. The reason being is I think Travis Kelce has a slight bounce back year. I think the yak is still gone. But I think the fact that he knows it's his last year, again, I've talked about it in so many sports. Albert Pujols, when he knew it was his last ride, what happened? He turned back the clock. You saw it with David Ortiz in Boston. It was a steep decline. Then he knew it was his last year, and he's like, wait, he might win MVP. Like, it's just guys, when they know it's their final season. Now, I know it's more baseball than other sports, but point remains, not everyone can do it. Miguel Cabrera couldn't do it, right? Sometimes it's your time. But I do believe that when you know it's your last season, you're able to dig deep and truthfully put all you can into it. So I think Travis has some of that in him. I think Noah Gray is one of the best, if not the best tight end two in the NFL. I actually wish he was used more, especially as a pass catcher. I know there's some questions with his blocking ability and who's the blocking tight end on this roster. There is none. I know what Robert Tonyan actually technically is on the roster. I believe
he is. You're right.
So maybe it's Robert Tonyan, but Noah Gray, I like. He's a PFF darling a lot of times in regards to his receiving grade. I think it matches the eye test as far as he does get open. I wish Patrick looked his way more, or at least had plays called for him. Let him be legit tight end one on certain plays. Like, take Travis off the field and let Noah Gray actually be that receiving tight end threat, just to give Travis some rest. And then Jared Wiley is for me an unknown, so I have no grade for him. But I think overall, I'd go like 80. What did I say, 86?
You went 87 because you went Travis Kelce's number, which is what I said for receiver. So I feel like I couldn't double down there. Here's the Noah Gray thing that I keep just like kind of getting hung up on, because I think I'm with you on all of that, right? Like I think I'm generally in agreement on like really good players should get a little more usage, but the production numbers have just never been there. He got more work last year, but on his career, he has 103 catches for 1,077 yards.
That's a season.
That's a really good Travis Kelce season. And 9 touchdowns, 134 targets. He got 41 targets 2 years ago, 49 last year. So it's not like he got a whole lot more of the football as Travis Kelce. His workload didn't really go down. His age just went up. But I don't know. Something doesn't quite pass the smell test for me on the Noah Gray thing right now. And I think it's really just about the fact that the Chiefs seem hesitant to use him as more of a legitimate weapon. But that could be a Travis Kelce thing. Maybe I'm just biased by a childhood of watching Tony Gonzalez and then an adulthood watching Travis Kelce. But I would love for Noah Gray to get more of that work. He's also, this will be year 5. He hasn't been in the league all that long, specifically for tight ends. They just haven't, it hasn't manifested yet. And that's a little bit strange to me.
Yeah, it's almost like Leo. Are they holding him back because if they give him too much of a workload, he gets exposed? Is he playing the perfect amount of snaps? I think that could be a case. Who knows? Again, I guess I trust Noah Gray. We've seen him be able to, at times, really impact a game. And when the ball gets thrown his way, knock on wood, I know he's going to catch the ball. Yep. That's big. Yep. So a little bit of a disagreement there on tight end room. Again, I still think I still think an aging Travis Kelce is still top 5 in the NFL. Which, again, sliding scale-wise, that's kind of my point.
We have very similar vibes. Our numbers were just a little different.
Yeah. Offensive line. We can break it down by interior versus tackles or all as one.
I've gone first the last couple of times. Why don't you go first here? I don't know, man. I don't know. I think I do know. I think that's why it's hard to give it a number.
I'm going with a 77.
For the entire line as a whole?
The entire line as a whole is a 77. Creed Humphrey is a 100. Congratulations, Creed. You won the award. Trey Smith is like a 92. Congratulations. You're an A. I like Trey Smith. Right tackle, Juwan Taylor, without the contract being in consideration, is a 75. He's a C. I
was going to give him an 80. Maybe even with the contract. I'm not disagreeing with you.
I think he's fine. And the contract gets coupled in, and I'm like, I'm angry. And part of it's because maybe I'm jealous, okay? I wish I could make that much money for getting that much laundry.
Well, we're
on the
repeatedly
field.
making the same mistakes over and over again. I would argue that you have.
Someone just clip out all the I've ever said and put it, and that's the radio mistake. How many do you have?
I guess there's a lot of reasons you can get into some bad radio habits, though. I won't hold you accountable to all of them. I just also won't ask Andy Heck to be the one that helps you fix them.
Fair. Left guard, Kingsley, I don't know, 65, maybe, I don't know. And then left tackle is probably Jalen Moore is still in it. It's all projection, and we've not seen Andy Heck do it with any sort of consistency in recent years. Stop bringing up guys from the past. We know it's been years since there's been consistent development. So I think overall the offensive line is a 77, which is being buoyed by the Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, and slightly by Juwan. Yeah. The left side is such a question mark. I'm bringing it down. Although I will say I like Wanya Morris in theory as a swing tackle. I think he's fine for a few games here and there. Hunter Norzed in theory I like as a backup interior offensive lineman / backup center. Right. I think that's actually he's viable there. I think 77 is where I'm at.
I was thinking 75 right before he said 77. So we're very close there. Creed absolutely said it, forget it. I'm only giving him a 99 because he doesn't play left tackle. So I'm dinging him 1 point there. I just wish he would have figured it out. I just wish he would have gotten longer arms at some point since he got to the team. No, Creed is like borderline literally perfect at his job. I'm a smidge cooler on Trey Smith than you are, but again, we're like splitting hairs where I'm just like, I would like to see him take a step forward as a pass protector. That is honestly kind of where I would draw my line on him. And I'm not saying that that's a reason to not give him the contract, but it's the thing that I think for me would justify the contract that he's theoretically still on the franchise tag right now. I'll give Juwan Taylor that 78 kind of thing. I think he's fine. This is the last year of it. Just we got to get through it. Hope he plays some better football and lines up correctly. Then the left side, to your point, we literally haven't seen it. We haven't seen it in a Chiefs uniform, or we haven't seen it at this position, or we haven't seen it with these two guys next to each other. If Jalen Moore was next to Joe Thuney, we'd be talking about how much Joe Thuney was going to help Jalen Moore in his new role in Kansas City. Well, now we're talking about Creed Humphrey helping Kingsley Suamataia in his new role in Kansas City. I will say with a decent bit of confidence and a decent bit of hesitance, I think Kingsley at left guard is going to work. I don't think he's going to become Trey Smith or Joe Thuney, but I think he's going to get 17 games there. He'd better. And I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be more or less your average replacement level NFL guard, which would be the worst guard play the Chiefs have had starting for this team in several years. But not including the Caliendo experiment. I think it'll work out. I think he'll be fine there. I think he will save them from some tremendous embarrassment for wasting that draft pick. And I think being fine on a rookie contract is not the worst thing in the world. So I'm buying in on Kingsley a little bit there. And I think they're paying for Jalen Moore to be an 80. I think they're saying, hey, this contract is let's get into the B's out of you. And if you impress us, we'll pay you more money going forward. But I think you got a couple of low 80 tackles. You've got for me, maybe a 90 right guard, 100 center, and a TBD 75 at left guard, who I'm kind of optimistic about.
Defensive line. Let's keep it in the trenches, baby.
The back-to-back comments are, Josh, don't give up on King Sumo. And then, so you're saying it's going to be Will Shields? Perfect. No notes. Perfect. I'm buying Kingsley at guard. I'm telling you, that's where he's going to play, though.
Clip it and put it in the Louvre. Just hang it in the Louvre. Okay, really we'll go to France. We'll hang it there. It'll be right next to the Mona Lisa. It'll be phenomenal.
I've seen that with my own eyes now. I did that on our honeymoon a few years ago, and
you son of a gut. No one loves to bring up the fact that he's cultured and traveled more than Brisco because he loves saying, "I went to Barcelona."
You mentioned the Mona Lisa, and yesterday I saw a picture of me and Renee standing in front of the Mona Lisa. I thought that might be kind of a fun thing for us to talk about here, but if you want us to stick to sports, that's fine. What went wrong for Mizzou in the first round, Sterling? Why did Drake beat ass so hard?
Because you touch yourself at night. That's why, Brisco. All-time favorite Family Guy quote. All time. Hey, why did the dinosaurs go extinct? That's always a good one. No. Tell us more about the Mona Lisa.
No, I saw it. It was fun. It's smaller than you think. About the size of one of these concert posters, very far away. You have to kind of wriggle your way up there. Yeah, smaller than you think. I'll Google it if you want, like, measurement here. Hold on. How big is the Mona Lisa? Actually got a tape measure here, too, because I was doing some reorganization.
Oh, man. Come on.
30 by 21. I'm telling you. 30? Uh-oh. Yeah, I mean, it's about the size of one of these concert posters.
Wow.
It's a super iconic painting that's 30 inches tall and 21 inches wide.
All right.
Who'd have thunk it?
Defensive line, no, I'm not going to say it. We're not doing that.
No, we're not. No, we're not. No need.
Chris Jones, Charles Omenihu, FAU, Mike Dana, George Karlaftis, Tillery, and Mike Pennell was also re-signed.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if you don't throw in BJ Thompson, I'll allow it. But that's the defensive line right now. What we rolling with?
I'm at a point again where, and this is similar to the running back situation, my grade for where they are before the draft is very different from where they are on opening day. Because I think right now the odds-on favorite for a position for the Chiefs to draft in the first round is defensive tackle. I think it's probably their biggest remaining need. I agree that they need a little more juice at running back, but I wouldn't invest the same picks in those spots. So I'm at a good, like, I think I'm up to like an 82 on the defensive line. That had me, if you would have talked to me, done this game before the Charles Omenihu deal, certainly without Jerry Tillery, and you lose Tershawn Wharton, Derek Nottie leaves, Mike Pennell comes back. I think Marlon Tuipulotu might get some of Derek Nottie's snaps. I know that seems a little bit silly because he was just like a healthy scratch all year last year, but he's a little bit on the younger side, and he did spend a year in the scheme. I don't know. I'm not hanging my hat on it. But just in terms of, like, there are still some nose reps to have taken. I think the Chiefs ought to take a versatile pass rushing defensive tackle specialist in the first round, ideally, depending on what the board looks like. And then try again for your Keandre Coburn type in the 5th or 6th round and find somebody who can just sit in the middle and be your new Derek Nottie. Be a guy who can do that job on a rookie contract for 4 years. So I think they need to do that, but I am genuinely really excited about the Charles Omenihu deal. I think that is a slam dunk contract for the Chiefs. And I think Charles Omenihu, in a year where he should want a lot more playing time, when I think the Chiefs should want to get a lot more playing time out of him, we're on the same page on Mike Dana. We have been over the years. He's a really good player. He's a useful player. He's a good DE3. Charles Omenihu should be this team's DE2. He won't get Karlaftis' snap share. I would not be surprised if Charles Omenihu out-sacks George Karlaftis in 2025. Like, I really think this lines up really, really well for a Charles Omenihu contract year when he should have had that opportunity last season, tore his ACL at the end of January, and obviously that totally tanked his market, and that's unfortunate. But I really, really like what a year of healthy Charles Omenihu can do in this defense.
Yeah, I think 84 is where I'm at, and I'm almost the exact same verbatim as you as far as what the Chiefs' game plan is, what it has been, the thoughts on the players. Yeah, and by the way, Mike Pennell coming back to KC, I liked it because you lose, obviously, not just Tershawn Wharton, but you really lose Derek Nottie.
Yep.
Derek Nottie had actually graded out as one of the worst defensive linemen in football for a while now. I feel bad. Great guy as far as what he does with charity and for the dogs and all that. I mean, it's really,
and he got
cool.
a deal in New York. He's with the Jets now, so I hope his career goes 5 or 6 more years. I hope that he finds a role somewhere else where he's asked to do some things differently than what he was asked to do in Kansas City. But yeah, you need somebody to get those snaps, and I think Derek Nottie had a tremendous career here in Kansas City, the last of the original class of Brett Veach's draft picks to leave Kansas City.
But Mike Pennell is 17th out of, I think it was 219 interior defensive linemen in run defense last year. The number is not super high, but it was 17 out of 219. So he has a role. He fills it well. That's what Mike Pennell does. So I was actually I'm happy with Mike Pennell coming back to KC. All right, so we are fairly in lockstep on the defensive line. To the linebacker room, where I'm sure we will agree 100% on this one, won't we?
I mean, we might disagree, but like, I don't think we're gonna be that far apart. If I had to guess, you go first. I know what my number is.
86.
72. We're further apart than I thought. I could be talked all the way up to 75. I'm a little sour on the group right now, man. Drew Tranquill had a step back last season. I think Nick Bolton's a fine football player, and his salary cap hit's not going to change anything for 2025. He's not the Creed Humphrey of this unit, right? Like,
no,
he's a good player who's your Mike linebacker, and that's cool. I love Leo Chanel. To your question from earlier, maybe more than Steve Spagnuolo, like in terms of where he's going to be used and how he's going to be used. I'm cool with Leo just being like the literal 12th man of the Chiefs defense, where you need something, put Leo out there and he'll make something happen. I love him. I love him in that role. I think that's great. They're paying Jack Cochran $3 million right now to round out the room and mostly play special teams. I guess, and this doesn't make me feel any freaking better, I guess they're going to draft a linebacker at some point to kind of round out that group, and maybe it's a coverage backer this time that can hopefully. Oh, I got a groundhog in my backyard I can see right now. I saw him yesterday for the first time. Seeing him right now, right out this window. Love a groundhog.
Tear up your lawn, dude. That thing is going to be full of holes.
My lawn is already a disaster, and having a groundhog in it only improves the entire vibes of my backyard tremendously.
Are you going to go all Caddyshack with it, or?
No, much more likely to go Groundhog Day, where I kidnap it and let it drive my car.
Okay.
I'm lukewarm on the linebackers. I'm lukewarm. It's not Nick Bolton's fault. It's not really Drew Tranquill's fault. I don't really feel anything for Cam Jones, Cole Christensen. I don't know, man. Again, I think maybe they draft the eventual Tranquill replacement, and you think if you have Bolton and a cover first linebacker for the next few years, that'll help bring that number down. You're not paying number one linebacker money and number two linebacker money. I guess I don't know. It is of all of the units on the defense, it is the least juicy of all of them, which is crazy to say because Leo Chanel is there. He is a juice creator in that defense. But I don't know. I'm left wanting.
I almost think 86. That's my initial reaction. Might be too high, but I think Nick Bolton is, let's say, like an 88. I think he's probably like an 88. That's where I'd put Bolton. I think Leo is about the same number, but he does things very differently, different ways. And we know, I think in his role, in Leo's exact role, he's like a 93. Sure, like if you look at PFF, I mean, oh man, he's
Leo
a
Chanel's
darling.
On the field. Do you expect him to win his rep? Yes or no? You're going to say yes most of the time.
But we know, at least in my opinion, I think Spags holds him back at a certain situation to not overexpose him because they know his weaknesses. I think that's a reason why. So that needs to be taken into account. So that has to drop him. Drew Tranquill, you're right, took a step back last year. I was actually very critical of him the first about 5 or so weeks of the season. But then I thought he really turned it on. I thought Drew Tranquill turned more so back into the guy he was the year prior. Not the exact guy, but 95% of what he once was the year before. There was a slight drop off. I think Drew's sitting at around an 81-ish player. So I guess 86 is about where I'm at. I would like, as you're pointing out, I would love to see a coverage linebacker come into KC, a legit coverage linebacker that turned into Drew's role. And Drew just took a step back, whether it's age or what. That's what it was.
He might have gotten tweaked in training camp in a way we never really heard about. I mean, yeah, who's to say? I think I'm a smidge lower on the individuals than you, but mostly I'm just kind of dealing with a little bit of like a sum of the parts problem that doesn't quite feel right to me yet. Maybe it will in St. Joe. Well,
I mean, that's what it is. I'm almost like I like all the players individually, but I don't know how much I love them together.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. It was almost like the Chiefs' interior offensive line or offensive line of the past few seasons.
Yes.
Where I really like the players. I just don't know if they make a ton of sense all together.
Yeah, so. I'm with you.
Okay. Let's go to the secondary. Let's go to cornerbacks. Where you at in corners?
It's been a while since I've said a number that started with a 9. 92.
Oh, wow.
I'm really excited. I think this might be another instance of me being too excited. I'm really excited because I don't think that Jalen Watson is a 90-plus player, and I don't think Christian Fulton is a 90-plus player, but I think the two of them together being your outside corners, putting Trent McDuffie back in the slot when you are out there with 3 corners on the field, which is going to be 70-some% of the time, more likely than not, that unit to me, that's where the sum of the parts exceeds the individual ratings. Trent McDuffie's a 98 or whatever. Fulton and Watson might be somewhere in the 80s, low 80s, high 80s. You put them wherever you want. But I really, really like what the top 3 corners on the field together looks like, because last year it was ideally Trent McDuffie outside, Jalen Watson outside, Shamari Connor in the slot. It was more often Trent McDuffie on the outside, Najee Johnson on the outside, Shamari Connor in the slot. Now it is Christian Fulton on the outside, Trent McDuffie on the outside until it goes into until they go into a sub package, and then it's Fulton, Watson, McDuffie in the slot, where he is the best slot defender in football. He might have Trent McDuffie might be a 105 slot defender because you have to account for the fact that he is so excellently valuable in that spot. So I'm really excited. It's why I was so jazzed about the Fulton signing, and it's for me why now I think Fulton and Aminahu's contracts are the two that I am the most excited about from this free agency period.
Yeah, I love the Fulton deal. I was a huge fan of that from the get-go. I think he fits Spags' defense. He's a very physical tackler as well, which you have to be in this defense. I'm not quite there. I'm more of like an 86. I'll say 87. I'll go 87. I'll bump it up 1. I think 87 is where I'm going to sit with the cornerback room. McDuffie is phenomenal. Top 3, top 5 corner in the NFL. Probably I'll say top 5 just because there's kind of that circle of 5 of him, Sauce Gardner, Patrick Surtain.
Trent McDuffie's top 5, but I think he's probably top 2, probably top 3 for the Chiefs. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think Spags would trade him for Stingley.
Derek Stingley, and then maybe you throw like Denzel Ward or something is in that room. I like Watson. I still have some questions after all the injuries he sustained, and is he a guy who's going to miss a lot of games to begin with, because the Chiefs clearly don't want to roll with Josh Williams out there, which I think is a little perplexing at times. I don't think Williams is as bad as I don't know. The Chiefs know more than us, so I'm not trying to be like, oh, I need to see Josh Williams on the field. But
we've seen Josh Williams play decent football in playoff games.
Yeah, and that's always my confusion. I'm like, why is Najee Johnson out there? But like Williams can't get on. But I've seen Williams play solid football in an NFL game.
Yep.
Point remains, I think overall
defense can evolve, but like it's the same DC and the same defense. I don't know.
I wouldn't mind taking a decent shot in the draft as well. I think like D tackle and cornerback I'm looking at, because again, Williams, Watson, Najee eventually. I like the Fulton. I like McDuffie, but I'm starting to see that depth start to dwindle over the past couple of seasons. That
class of guys is going into their final years. Fulton's on a 2-year deal. McDuffie's contract's not here yet. I think absolutely I'd be totally cool with him finding. You find your guy from south of the Mason-Dixon line who you can throw a 4th or 5th round pick at, and he's starting opposite Christian Fulton in 2026. Hell yeah, dude. Sign me up.
Yeah. Jalen Butler, CB's 87. We are lockstep Jalen. Good call. Safeties. Where we at here?
A little bit harder. I really like all these individual players, but the guy that I might be most excited about has played the least, and the guy that I might be least excited about has played the most, I think. I like Brian Cook just fine. The Chiefs have shown you pretty consistently over the years when they want to have a safety stay with the team for a long period of time, that deal gets done before they enter the final year of that deal. I think Brian Cook is replaced by the next Justin Reed watch. You know what I mean? Like I don't completely feel like his future has been cemented with this team. Meanwhile, Shamari Connor, who drove me crazy in the slot last year, it makes me excited as a roaming free, like a safety type. I almost said free safety. There are no free or strong safeties. There are just spag safeties who do weird spag things. And Shamari Connor is one of the guys who can do that. Jaden Hicks, I think, is going to do a ton of those Justin Reed things, and I think he's going to do it at a high level. I'm very high on Hicks. I think I'm higher than most still on Shamari Connor. I really like Brian Cook, even though I do think I was off the Shamari Connor slot corner train last year. As a safety, I'm very, very interested. Another spot, though, where, again, if they don't see the future with Cook necessarily, wouldn't surprise me one bit to see them draft another safety in this year's class. And if you are able to just continue to build that room out of rookie contract safeties where you aren't spending free agent money there like they did with Tyrann Mathieu, like they did with Justin Reed, that's a little market inconsistency you can take advantage of. And the Chiefs have been really good at that so far at the safety position.
So you didn't give a number, but I'll go 79.
81. I was going to say 80. Look at us. We're real close. I'm a little bit more optimistic, I think.
Yeah, Brian Cook, again, unfair, but ever since the injuries, he's not been quite the same player. He's suffered a few.
In the inverse of the Leo Chanel thing, he hasn't looked like quite the same player, but the Chiefs have him out there all the time. Like, it seems like Spags trusts him, and he's not a weakness.
No, he's fine. Like, he's a fine player. I mean, he's been valuable. It's almost like Juan Thornhill, to an extent where it's like, oh, the injury really sapped him of like the high end potential, but he's still a good player. I think it's kind of similar. It's like, yeah, they looked like budding stars at safety and they turned into good, useful pieces. Fine. Shamari Connor, I'm with you. I did not like him in the slot, and that was my concern from the get-go, dude. He's not quick enough. He's just not fast enough, and that's really nothing you can do about that. It is what it is. Safety, though, I think he can roll back there and get back to being a useful player for this beyond a useful player, a good player for this Chiefs team. Jaden Hicks, again, still some unknowns, but that should be, on paper at least, the actual Justin Reed replacement. So I would like to see a little more investment in regards to that kind of Mike Edwards type. I feel like a veteran. I keep saying like a Mike Edwards type, and I looked it up. Mike Edwards is actually a free agent, so I might just be like Mike Edwards.
Oh, is he really again? Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know. I could see him being being brought back or something of that style. All right, so special teams to round it out: kicker, punter, and we'll go punt and kick returner because we'll go Nico Remigio.
That's probably right.
Right, Remigio.
James Winchester, highest paid long snapper in football, who said during his press conference that he was surprised by the amount the Chiefs offered. He and his agent got one over on Brett Veach of the Chiefs. Cool. I'm all for long snappers getting paid, but that was the one thing that Winchester said during his presser that was like, oh, he was.
How much was it though? Was it 2.2 or 1.2?
I don't have it in front of me. I don't know. But it was the resetter of the market, I believe. But no worries about him. You keep around your veteran long snapper until he doesn't want to play anymore. Harrison, what do you have? Do you have the number?
1.65.
Yeah.
Great for him.
Less than they're playing Jack Cochran or Nazi Johnson right now.
Well, honestly, it's kind of funny. You're like, I get it, but it is such an important job. It's so under the radar. Like no one, you don't talk about it.
Having a disaster at long snapper is an unmitigated disaster. Having a great long snapper is easily forgettable.
It's wild. So good for James, man. 1.65 to throw that thing back there. That's the highest paid. Seems actually a little low. But great for James.
Good for him.
He's
man.
a nice guy. We talked to him in the Super Bowl on opening night. The Arrowhead Addict boys, and we were playing that game and scavenger hunt, and he was just so fun. He was like, "Yeah, let's play some games." He was like so excited to like play games. He's like, "You want to play rock paper scissors? Let's go!" Yes, and then we're like, "Spell Kingsley Sumati," and he was so excited for it. He was a bundle of joy. Big fan of James Winchester.
You want your long snapper to also be a bundle of joy. I think that's great. Harrison Butker, stay healthy. Matt Araiza, learn what a touchback is. End of notes. That's it. If Butker's healthy, he's one of the three best kickers in football. If he's not healthy, he's not very helpful. And Matt Araiza's got a huge leg, and if you can't figure out how to stop kicking it through the back of the GD end zone, then it's not very helpful. That's all it is.
It's tough because
69.
Nice. I was going to say we differ here. I was going to say like 90.
Mine's not super serious. I'm a little annoyed about the Araiza thing. Dude was around all year last year and did not get better and did not seem to address the thing that he was not very good at. I think he did not live up to his branding last season.
No.
It doesn't mean he's a lost cause, but like I think Ryan Reckow ended up having a better year last year than he did.
Yeah, I was really disappointed in Ariza last year as far as what we kind of thought. Maybe expectations were just too high. Taking his nickname, which supposedly he does not like, out of the equation here, doesn't matter. He was not good.
I'm a Sterling. I don't want to alarm anybody. I'm a punt atheist now. I don't believe in them anymore. That's how bad he was.
I think Nico Remigio is a really good returner. I think James Winchester is a great long snapper. I can't, knock on wood, think of a single issue with James in his entire tenure in KC, really. Butker, I still think, is a top 3 kicker in the NFL. Again, injury, we'll find out. But prior to injury, he was the number 1 kicker. It was like him and Brandon Aubrey at that point because they'd both passed Justin Tucker. And then Ariza, of course, he's the one bringing that down. But I'm still very, very fond of the special teams unit as a whole.
I didn't address Nico. I'm good with him. I think he's on the roster. If they want to have some competition with him in camp, have some other speedy receiver who's good at tracking a punt, bring it on, go for it. But I think Nico in that role, I would be happy with. Certainly they're going to have some undrafted rookie who's back there taking punts with them. So I'd like to see him continue. I'd like to see him hold his distance in a training camp competition as the team's last receiver and first return man. But I think his inside track for that role is pretty obvious.
We'll end on a positive note right here. Ronson Trait says Ariza killing it in the holding game, though. Good call, Ronson Trait. Always love the name, and that is a great, great call. A lot of fun right here on the Arrowhead Addict podcast on this Tuesday. Throw us a like. Give us a review wherever you get your podcast. Hopefully it's a 5-star review, a nice one. We like nice words over here. We're fond of positive reinforcement, even though I give Brisco negative reinforcement. That's how he responds.
We handle the negative reinforcement ourselves. We would love some positive reinforcement from you.
Appreciate everyone hanging out for Richard behind the glass, always doing his thing. We appreciate him. Say hi, Richard.
Hi, Richard.
All right. Until next time, I'll be back tomorrow with Adam Best. Until then, we are out.
Rack 'em.